This is lesson 3.3, rate of change and slope. Your objectives are to use rate of change to solve problems and to find the slope. The rate of change tells, on average, how a quantity is changing over time. You'll compare the y values with the x values and how they change over time. The graph shows the population growth in China. A. Find the rates of change for 1950 to 1975 and for 2000 to 2025. Well, we're checking the rates of change, so do the new values minus the old values. Since we're doing population compared to time, population will be the numerator. For 1950 to 1975, the change in population is 0.93 billion minus 0.55 billion. And that's newer minus older. For the change in time, you're doing 1975 minus 1950. That's newer minus older. For the other group, 2000 to 2025, for the population, 1.45 billion minus 1.27 billion, and 2025 minus 2000. Those fractions will become decimals if you want to make them that. You get 0.0152 for the ratio and 0.0072 for the second ratio. B. Explain the meaning of these rates of change. Well, from 1950 to 1975, the ratio is 0.0152, and that's billions of people per year, which is about 15.2 million people per year. So during that time, the population increased by about 15.2 million people per year. From 2000 to 2025, it was about 0.0072 billion people per year, which is about 7.2 million people per year. So that's what those numbers mean. That is the population increase each year during that time. So we know that that's billions of people with the rate there because it says so on the graph. And that is per year because these are years on the other axis. C. How are the different rates of change shown? Well, there's a greater change between 1950 and 1975, so the section of that graph has a steeper slope. And it's not as steep between 2000 and 2025. It narrows off just a little bit. So just remember, when you do these, do the newer value minus the older value. And that goes for the numerator and for the denominator. Organize it, and then find out what your number means. And your number will be based on the labels on the graph, whether it's time or billions of people. Number 1. The graph shows the predicted life expectancy for men and women born in a given year. A. Find the rates of change for women from 2000 to 2025 and 2025 to 2050. So women is the top line. For the first range, we'll do the change in age divided by the change in time. The change in their age was 84 minus 80. Remember, do the new one minus the old one. Change in time is 2025 minus 2000. And that's 4 over 25. For the next range, that'll be 87 minus 84, because you're doing the age at 2050 minus the age at 2025. And that's over 2050 minus 2025, which is 3 over 25. For the first one again, We did 84 minus 80 right there. 2025 minus 2000 right there. For the second range, you're doing 87 minus 84 and 2050 minus 2025. So organize it and do the newer one minus the old one. B. Find the rates of change for men from 2000 to 2025 and from 2025 to 2050. So from 2000 to 2025 first, we'll do the change in age divided by the change in time. Do the new minus the old. The new age would be 78 minus the old age 74 over the new time 2025 minus the old time 2000. And that's 4 over 25. For the next range, do the new age 81 minus the old age 78 over the new time 2050 minus the old time 2025. And that's 3 over 25. Organize it, make sure you're using the right number, and do the new one minus the old one. C. Explain the meaning of your results. Well, a rate of 4 over 25 means that your life expectancy increases by 4 years every 25 years. So in 25 years, the oldest people will be 4 years older. A rate of 3 over 25 means the life expectancy increases 3 years for every 25 years. So in 25 more years, the oldest people will be only 3 years older. D. What pattern do you see in the increase with each 25-year period? Well, the pattern is that the life expectancy increases too. As time increases, the life expectancy increases. E. Make a prediction for the life expectancy for 2050 to 2075 and explain how you arrived at your prediction. Well, women would probably live to be 90 and men would probably live to be 84 because at that time, every 25 years, the life expectancy goes up about 3 years. If it keeps with the trend from the section before. The slope of a line is the ratio of change in the y-coordinates, which is the rise, to the change in the x-coordinates, which is the run, as you move in the positive direction. Y-coordinates go up and down, that's why that's called a rise. X-coordinates go left and right, that's why it's called a run. And you have the formulas. M equals rise over run, or M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The order is very important there, so make sure you don't mix them up. Always do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And when you work that out, if the slope is positive, your line will tip up from left to right. If it's negative, it'll go down from left to right. A slope of 0 is horizontal, and a slope that's undefined is vertical. Find the slope of the line that passes through each pair of points. Number 1, 4, 9, and 1, 6. Use the slope formula. y2 is 6, y1 is 9, x2 is 1, x1 is 4. That's negative 3 divided by negative 3, which is 1. Use the slope formula, substitute your values in, and simplify it. For number 2, use the slope formula. y2 is negative 5, y1 is negative 1 over x2 is negative 2 minus x1 is negative 4. Watch your minus signs there. You're subtracting a negative, which means add a positive. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2, and negative 4 over 2 is negative 2. Always watch your signs. Pay attention to the negatives there. For number 3, y2 is negative 5 minus y1 is negative 1 over x2 is negative 4 minus x1 is negative 4. Again, minus a negative is add a positive. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0, and you can't divide by 0, so that's undefined. This is one of our vertical lines. Remember, when the 0 is under, it's undefined. That's how you remember. When the 0 is under, it's undefined. Number 4. y2 is 9 minus y1 is 1 over x2 is 8 minus x1 is 2. That's 8 over 6, which reduces to 4/3. Substitute in and simplify. Make sure your answer is reduced. Number 5. Use the slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is negative 6 minus y1 is negative 8 over x2 is 7 minus x1 is 14. That's really negative 6 plus 8, which is 2. 7 minus 14 is negative 7. And simplify that by putting the negative out in front of the fraction. That's a negative 2/7. A positive divided by a negative makes the whole fraction negative. Number 6. y2 is negative 3 minus y1 is negative 3 over x2 is 8 minus x1 is 4. In the numerator, that's really negative 3 plus 3, which is 0, and 8 minus 4 is 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. That's going to be a horizontal line. Number 7. m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 2 minus y1 is negative 2 over x2 is 6 minus x1 is 1. That's really a 2 plus 2 on top, which is 4. 6 minus 1 is 5, and that's reduced. Number 8. y2 is 2 minus y1 is 5 over x2 is 6 minus x1 is 2. 2 minus 5 is negative 3 over 6 minus 2 is 4. And a negative divided by a positive makes the whole fraction negative 3/4. Number 9. m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. y2 is 3.5 minus y1 is 3.5 all over x2 is negative 4 minus x1 is 4. 3.5 minus 3.5 is 0. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. And 0 divided by negative 8 is 0. That's a horizontal line. So use your slope formula, substitute the values in, and simplify it.